Good morning. I'm Lida. I'm going to present my project EUPHONIA, which is on this blog. Yeah. And I'm going to start with the prologue, then quickly show my trailer, and then I will take you through the city. Yes. Thanks. Jack's ears never recovered from the noise of Chinese cities, Tokyo, and from all the airplanes. Everybody talking at the same time, always, everywhere. More noise than sound, an unconscious, subdued babble of conversation that is alien to the resonating diversity of spoken words. It is a mad dance of distortions, which follow no clear univocal logic, but form a patchwork of improvised connections. Is this how the fluidities of trade are coming to dominate the planet? Incredible, though, how, if noise is present and chance becomes objective, everything is possible. And every time Jack closes his eyes, there is a faint sound of which the tune is slightly shifted, so that it gets amplified and modified, so that for years he was convinced that it was a tinnitus, the perpetual ringing of the ears that you can never switch off, and that he'd rather be deaf. Until one day, more by chance than by accident, he attended an appointment in a private clinic in the Polish High Tatras. The day after his arrival, a foggy morning, Jack steps out on the terrace, breathes in, closes his eyes to the contrastless gloom of the noisy world, and makes vision and sound, heteronym and homonym, split off, run away from each other. And for a moment, he forgets where he is. Suddenly, the sound is louder than ever, still disturbing, but this time more like a rhythm in perfect sync with his philanthropic heartbeat. A tune which for him had existed nowhere in the world until this morning. Jack is obsessed, his legs, in fact, his entire body swing in resonance. He descends the mountains. It's the dance of renewal, the dance that made the world, that was always danced here at the edge of things. And he was absorbed by the rhythmic reverberation. Every bend of the river made Jack's body swing a little more. He was so full of animal spirits that the people thought him mad. But for Jack, to recognize the mad was to recognize himself. This is what it must be like to approach an essential singularity, Jack sighed. In exhaustion. It was like getting to know himself again. He had located the beautifully haunting tone, as if he'd identified the oscillations, spirals, or fractal-like patterns at x equals 0 of the exponential function of 1 over x. And then, without a warning, without being able to explain how, without even taking notice of passing the endlessness of suburbia, with phony respectability and genuine boredom effectively isolated from the world by traffic jams, Jack entered. There was a tremendous silence. For a moment, he was scared he died before delivery. Then the morning of his prosperity was suddenly changed into the evening of bitterness and disappointment, as he realized that what he saw looked nothing like a siren. All there were empty eyes and empty buildings, and silent people trying to forget communism, capitalism, and all the rest. Jack ragefully ripped off his silken pajama shirt. All the eyes, and some cameras of Krakow, gathered on his naked upper torso, revealing his intimidating thug life tattoos. And the city revived in noise, din, clamor, fury, tumult, and non-comprehension. Jack, looking at the floor, expecting to have ruined his reputation twice, and twice by excess, noticed a white piece of paper on the cobblestone, a wrinkled check of 2 billion that had liberated from his waistband. a divine angel to remind him not to have fear of things that are but of little hindrance. And Jack realized two things at once: the reason why he came, and how with 2 billion he could render noise and song.
Oh, Superman. Oh, Jack. Oh, Mom and Dad.
Paradise is exactly like where you are right now, only much better. Saw this guy in a train, and he seemed to have gotten stuck in one of those abstract trances, and he was going, and Fred said, I think he's in some kind of pain. I think it's a pain cry. And I said, pain cry? Then language is a virus. Language, it's a virus. Well, I dreamed there was an island that rose up from the sea, and everybody on the island was somebody from TV. And there was a beautiful view, but nobody can see, 'cause everybody on the island is screaming, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Paradise is exactly like where you are right now.
Parola protratta, ritratto, promessa, ritorno, protetta, trascina, pensiero profondo, parola protratta, ritratto, promessa, ritorno, protetta, trascina, pensiero profondo, parola protratta, ritratto, promessa, ritorno, protetta, trascina, pensiero profondo, parola protratta, ritratto, promessa, ritorno, protetta, trascina, pensiero profondo, parola protratta, ritratto, promessa, ritorno, protetta, trascina, pensiero profondo, parola protratta, ritratto, promessa, ritorno, protetta, trascina, pensiero profondo, parola protratta, ritratto, promessa, ritorno, protetta, trascina, pensiero profondo, parola protratta, ritratto, promessa, ritorno, protetta, trascina, pensiero profondo, parola protratta, ritratto, promessa, ritorno, protetta, trascina, pensiero profondo, parola protratta, ritratto, promessa, ritorno.
Markets, trade expressions. The word fair is not about trade, but about the celebration of men's achievements, showing collective through the individual. It puts words and sentences into proportion. It is the exclamation point, a shouting of a number, the yelling of a product is related to experience as a cry is to pain. This is where the weird things get their names. Merchants name things and then we can talk about them, can refer to them in talk. Money talks because money is a metaphor, a transfer and a bridge. Like words and language, money is a storehouse of communally achieved work, skill, and experience. Octopus, pull, far wiser. Eat my words, swallowing them whole life, loveliness incarnate. The stones, the sounds, the colors, the human flesh and bones. The walls talk, raw, tough. Wild, hard, stark, throaty, confuse the lobster with its shell choke. The Pleonastic Council professionalized verbal fighting. It discusses the discursive rules and customs of rhetoric, fiction, and dialectic. They are all part of the continuum of linguistic material that constitutes it, just as tune and rhythm are the means of representation for flute playing. It is the structure of language, an agreement in the same sense about formal relations and structural relations. It happens, but it doesn't exist. But it is inside these forms, even if they too now have passed into oblivion, that the real work of advancement or forgetting is done. I waved to me, pulled a long face and walked on silently. Idiot, he whispered. I kept waving my arms till I could not see the blind-eyed purlieus, silence and security. The dementia dip drowns one thought with the next. As we learn, we must be daily unlearning something, which it has cost us no small labor and anxiety to acquire. The bath hosts the liquefied naked act of forgetting, a bodily act. The sounds are the rhythmic splashes of water, hushes in the sweat room, gossip in the dressing. The dressed swimmer can't get to the bottom of his memory, down to the total and first oblivion. But when he surged naked from the bath in which he discovered the force that makes us float, he inverts harlequin, overdressed, the way invention is opposed to memory. Plungers inhale and the oblivious float. I am a sponge, bone marrow, dripping in oil, warm, white, wealthy. A new color, the shadow gathering it, no name, there never would be, rightly so. 25500. Contraction, red, stop, green, go, speed of light, turning gold to red and silver to white. Love, marry, neither possession nor command. The hall of wasted breath is an echo. It can't speak its own words, but instead only reflects the last words spoken. Forced to remain motionless and always the same in order to be more easily remembered, the castle itself has long been forgotten. Here, offices of owner by occasion of trouble and for reasons of good and peccable government were turned into mere titles, serving for the most part to distinguish the precedence, place and order of subjects. And men were made dukes, counts, marquises, and barons of places wherein they had neither possession nor command. To save the city from this generic activity by which reactive forces are trained and tamed, all the wasted breath condenses on the castle's mirrors, the windows, the handrails, and doorknobs. The castle is like the salvia valve of a trombone. It purges the city from fog, guaranteeing optimal sound propagation for the rest. Breath creates another layer of language. Drip, a hush falls. Ding, pearls her teeth a drink, water off her mouth, whispering Vistula. Breathe out, condense, write me a note, drop it, crack the glass, scatter communism on the floor, capitalism in the air, invariance, resonance. The altar celebrates faulty words. Man has the power to reverberate the divine thunder. It sounds like confessions, whispering, and melodic incantation. They don't talk, but they do reveal. The faithful pile up offerings representing past mistakes, namely shards of glass reminiscent of communism. Sin is a gravitation. It has great potentiality. The more the better. Errors attract mistakes, attract silent faulty words, attract curse, attract sin. The poison contains the antidote, and the foolish would think, now I may have to eat my words. But the fault is in the appetite, not the food itself. And appetite with an opinion of attaining is called hope. And with a faulty appetite, Eve liberated us from a formatted paradise. Where the hell are we? Come on, dance. Go take a swim in the sand. What kind of bird are you? A moth. I want to see the light. I want to be the light. The noise clunk like a confused daguerreotype. Blinded by high, Jack, echo Jackie, a double conflagration, as heavy as sin, as hot as blazes. The burning one is Eros, extinguish, distinguish. The home is moaning and soliloquy. Sex is a profoundly semantic act. Eros and language mesh at every point. Intercourse and discourse, copula and copulation are subclasses of the dominant fact of communication. They arise from the life need of the ego to reach out and comprehend in the two vital senses of understanding and containment another human being. In a dark room, words suddenly acquire new meanings and different textures. They become richer. Talking to oneself is a recognized form of play that is indispensable to any growth of self-confidence. Identities have their material shape in the home. All the homes of EUPHONIA, in their resonating togetherness, give rise to a zone of intensity of mutually prehended, unbound creativity. At the homes, people are not an echo, not at the center of everything, like a sonorous echo, but on the edges of messages, at the birth of noises. Sound and sick confusedly together, they giggle, a scattered smile. His sporadic joy, her hiccup, their hookup. Rather dead than spotted, rather seen and potted, in the finest porcelain, the ermine, lady. I envy her, ladyfinger, firstborn unicorn, hardcore softborn. With a heart and a half, awake and absolutely naked, I waved to my neighbor waved to me, pulled a long face and walked on silently. Idiot, he whispered. But my neighbor is my enemy. I kept waving my arms till I could not see. Could hear Clunk, the moth, the ladybird singing. Where the hell are we? Come on, dance. The city is the noise and the sound, oscillations between the code of utility and the code of beauty. It is all the colors of all the words. It is volatile and solid, meaningless and utterly significant. It acknowledges that reflection, luster, refraction, luminosity, darkness, color, softness, absorption, liquidity are all physical properties of talking. It and you in it work like data and information, like capital and coins. You dematerialize, then rematerialize. The city is a sentence, harsh, staccato, in an alien tongue. The city emits a rhythmic sound. Thank you.